Thank you, Steve, for having us. Welcome to another Vibrant U Live. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Jane.
All right, so just to kind of recap, last week we had talked about Flag Day. We were highlighting Flag Day. Last Wednesday was Flag Day if you missed it, and we kind of went over some history of the American flag, some fun facts ahead of we had a Flag Day celebration at the Meeker Co-op office here in Litchfield. So if you didn't attend that, we have some more events we'll talk about a little later today. But that was kind of last week. We also got a ton of great feedback from people who have Vibrant at the events, and we were also in Painesville that same night, and so many people came by and were thanking us for Vibrant, and we're happy to have it. Today, we have a special guest with us to kind of talk about their personal experience with Vibrant and kind of talk about, you know, how it's changed, maybe what they've been able to do and some of that stuff. So
yes. So I know this person way back from 1983.
I wasn't born yet.
No, sorry. It was a great time.
It was a good year.
And so I grew up in St. Paul and moved out here 20 years ago. And I ended up going into Litchfield's superintendent to their district to look for a job, and I ran into this person and I said, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "I work here, Jane. What are you doing here?" And I go, "I want a job." So this person, I had the privilege of being a student in his class, and he taught economics, and loved him as a person. And here he is still in Litchfield, and we're still great friends. So this is Mr. Bill Wold. And notice I said, well, he goes back and forth. Call me Bill, Jane. Call me Bill, because I'm always Mr. Wold. So welcome to our show.
Well, thanks, Jane. It's great to be here. And we all have our former lives here that sometimes get exposed. And you just exposed some of my past. So, but it was those were great days. I had 15 years at Hill Murray where I taught and coached. And those are great years, great kids that we had there.
Yep. Yeah, you coached softball and basketball for girls.
And I was assistant football coach, too.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And you took us to state for girls basketball.
Yes.
Way back in the day.
We went to the state tournament, yes.
Yes. Good times. Yeah. So what are you doing now? How do people know you around the community?
Well, I've been employed at Capella University, which is an online university based out of Minneapolis with about 35,000 students across the world. And I've been working with them in the School of Public Service and Education, and also working with them in their innovation department, where we work with staff to do engagement type videos so they could get the learners more engaged in their courses. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Okay. And then how about civic community? Are you on any of those?
Well, I was a member of Kiwanis. I was in the Chamber of Commerce. Actually, I'm still a member of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
I still keep up with what's going on here in the Litchfield community.
So, how did you learn about Meeker Cooperative bringing Vibrant to its members?
Well, it was kind of an interesting thing. Tim Mergen gave a presentation at Kiwanis, and he brought in a fiber line with all the threads and everything else as his visual. And he talked about a plan that the co-op had where they would hardwire these towers throughout the co-op area, and from these towers, signals would be passed to homes to obtain the internet. And that hit me. And I came up to him after the presentation. I said, "I think this will work. I think this is a gold mine for you guys." The fact that these towers would be hardwired with fiber was a change from what I was used to, because we were getting radio signal at that time.
Yep.
It wasn't a fiber type of thing. So when he talked about this and the towers actually went up, we were quick to sign up with Vibrant.
Do you remember whenabouts you were installed and got the Vibrant service?
I believe we got installed about 4 years ago now, right? About in 2019.
Yeah, this must have been pretty early on.
Is when we were one of the first. And, we had Wild Blue at one point. We were one of the first to do Wild Blue. Years back,
satellite, I think,
years
right?
back, the satellite, and that eventually that wasn't working so well. Then we switched to a radio signal type of thing where they passed from tower to tower with radio, and that's what we had when I heard Tim's presentation and what we had before we had Vibrant.
Sure. You talk about your online schooling now. So much has moved on the internet. I mean, I'm sure that experience has changed quite a bit over the last handful of years as the internet throughout the world, especially in Meeker County with fiber and stuff. It kind of makes so many more possibilities for some of that kind of stuff.
Well, Capella was really one of the pioneers with online learning.
Yep.
And, of course, the pandemic forced a lot of people to learn how to do programming over the internet. And you have the top schools in the country now with programs that are online. And Capella, again, was one of the pioneers. So it has all the bells and whistles and all the tools and all the resources to provide a good program.
Ahead of its time, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously... I have to have a good internet signal in order to do what I'm supposed to do.
So describe some of your experience, before Vibrant. So you mentioned you had satellite, and then you had kind of that point-to-point bounce system before Vibrant. Were you with Capella then too?
Yes, I was. Yeah,
okay.
And relying on internet
Sure.
every day. But you can see over time, there's been a change, there's been a growth, there's been a new technology. And whenever there was a new technology, I was always interested in it. I was the first person in North St. Paul to hook up with cable television.
Oh, wow.
By the time the guy came to my door to sell it to me, I knew more than he did about it. I said, just get this thing hooked up. But whenever anything new came down the line in regard to technology, it was always quick to try it out, and that's
Sure.
what happened here.
Was the working with the Capella stuff, was that working with those older technologies?
It was working, but again, there was a new way and faster way to provide a better signal for us.
Sure.
And again, we kept on growing as technology kept growing, and now we have better speeds going on and more consistent with Vibrant.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember, this was 4 years ago, but do you remember the experience that you had from signing up to the process of getting Vibrant?
Well, it was pretty clean. I don't think there was any chore or any difficulty in doing that. The interesting thing, we had Tom had put up a tower he got a tower from Pickle Gabrielson that was sitting next to a barn, and it was a 55-foot tower. And that was put up to grab a signal from our former carrier. When Vibrant came up, put a little extension on that. So that tower is maybe close to 60 feet now, and it grabs a signal off the tower down the road. Actually, we started out, it couldn't get a signal off the tower that was a mile away. It had to catch one out of Forest City, but now it catches the one just north of Darwin. But in regard to getting it done, it was great.
Okay. So any problems, if you've had anybody come out, how have we been?
Oh yeah, we had an issue. We had to change out the box on the tower, and that's when they switched it and named it toward the Darwin Tower,
sure.
And that's where things changed, and there was a vast difference. And we also do something a little bit different that maybe some people do, but our signal goes right into Tom's shop. My son Tom has a business on the property, and it goes into his shop, and then we send it out by mesh into the house.
Okay.
So we are still working on ways to improve our mesh and how we're doing that. But the signal into the shop is very strong, and we again have a mesh system that gets it going into the house. So that's how I get it in my office at home.
Perfect.
Do you you talked about some of the schooling stuff and with Capella and university. I imagine that involves video conferencing and streaming.
Oh, we do that. We do that all the time. I have meetings all the time, and that's very important to have something that doesn't break up. I with the trainings that I do, it's real important if we're doing trainings on how to engage with learners that we have a good signal all the time. So so absolutely. I use it on a regular basis. And Tom, like I said, who runs his business in the shop, he relies quite a bit on the internet, obviously with his business. And he also has a telephone system from the co-op and obviously based out of the internet. So so we use that quite regularly.
Yeah. Well, good. I mean, that's become so many people think when you say streaming or video, people think Netflix or they think watching TV or whatever. But with schooling and people working remotely, there's so much more video conferencing going on that's considered streaming video, and without a good internet connection, that's not really possible. You got all kinds of choppiness, or the video and audio becomes off, and there's all kinds of issues. So I'm glad to hear it's been working.
In one of my sessions recently, I showed a picture of this tower that I was talking about, how we get the internet in rural America. And of course, most of these folks are in metro areas. They're not in rural areas. They don't have quite an understanding how the internet works in rural America. And of course, Jane and I from St. Paul, we probably felt the same way back in the old days. We could always go to a library, a neighborhood library, or downtown St. Paul, the Hill Library. You go to St. Thomas, you go to the University of Minnesota. You had all these resources.
Yeah.
But people out in the rural area, kids out in the rural area, didn't have access to all this. And that's what changed everything here. And I was explaining this to my colleagues who were in training with in what I was talking about in regard to engagement. But I showed the tower and I explained how the co-op sends the signal out and everything else, and they were, "Oh, really?" But the rural folks, they were the last ones to get electricity, last one to get telephone, last one to get the internet. But it's equalized everything. Now, kids in Litchfield or any other parts of rural America, if they have such a system as Vibrant,
they have access to
everything's everything's equal now. They have all the resources and get whatever you want, and that's been a great thing for everybody.
Yeah, a university like Capella, you could be right in downtown New York with the best internet, or in Minneapolis with the best internet, or you can now be in rural Minnesota. As long as you have internet connection, you can have the same access to your schooling and all that stuff. It's pretty amazing.
That's right. We have people all over the world, mostly in the United States. A lot of the clientele at Capella is from they're from the southern part of the United States, where education perhaps isn't as strong.
Sure.
The opportunities aren't as great. So we have a lot from the south and southeast in our Capella courses.
So has anybody approached you about your internet and have you recommended Vibrant to people?
Yes, absolutely. John,
how does that work?
John, I can give you an example. John and Betty Nyman, my friends from over at Anytime Fitness, I kept telling them, you have to get internet, you have to get a computer, and
so you just say it like you just get it.
Oh yeah, and after a year or so, they did. And they think this is the greatest. And John and Betty, if you're listening, you're great, because you're just great examples of what can happen. Now, they got a Chromebook, and they're on this thing all the time. And they have Vibrant in their house. They live not far from us.
Perfect.
And anybody else that comes in and wants to talk internet, and certainly welcome to give them my point of view, certainly. But it's been a great thing what the co-op has done here.
Vibrant's been so proud of the two types of service. We have fiber to the home. If you're close enough to fiber, that is kind of the future for decades to go. But not, especially in rural America, people are so spread out. It's not like there's dense population. So you run one fiber line to feed 100 homes. It could be, miles, but hundreds of miles before you get to 100 homes, really. So that's where the fixed wireless comes in, the fiber fed fixed wireless. It's so important to have fiber to all these towers. We don't do the hop to hop to hop to hop until you hit a cable. The one tower you're connected to has fiber to it, and it just makes a huge difference.
But it used to be, we were always concerned about electricity going out and then having the telephone go out. Now we're really concerned about the internet. I'm sure Steve, he's really concerned if that internet goes down.
Yeah.
It's really a challenge, when something does happen, and every once in a while things do happen for whatever reason with the internet, and hopefully folks can fix those and get everybody back online.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, great. Any other thoughts, questions, anything else you want to add?
No, I just think that what you have here with Vibrant has been an outstanding thing. And as I said, when Tim came in to Kiwanis and started talking about this, I said, this is absolutely what we need, and this is absolutely what I need in my own work at Capella University.
Yeah, it's just cool to see the history of the co-op. The co-op was put together and did electricity over 85 years ago because there was no electricity in the rural community. It was such a need for farmers and stuff like that. And then to see 85 or so years later, a similar thing with internet. The co-op saw the need for internet in rural America and at least in our area, and went forward and put a lot of money forward, a lot of time to kind of build out Vibrant and fill that need even before COVID. And then it kind of even got exploded even more. And now you see the government starting to fund so much more broadband to the rural community, which is really, really nice. They see the need for it.
And my take is that it used to be, well, all the jobs are in the metro. That's where all the jobs are.
Yep.
And I have to live near where I work, and that's how it worked. Now a lot of people don't work in the brick and mortar buildings.
No.
They can work at home.
Yep.
And that's why communities such as Litchfield and other areas, they can bring in more people, perhaps. Less traffic, less everything else, less hassle, and people can work from home. And a company like yours that provides the internet is doing a great thing in helping those people out. So there is hope for the rural communities for people to come out and live and work and be a big part of the community.
Yeah, I know. We love it, and we're talking about it all day. So,
So speaking of community and education, we have something happening tonight.
We got some events coming up. So tonight we have our Vibrant You Dreaming of Streaming event. We do these roughly once a month. We usually have a good turnout, 10, 20 people. It's not too many people. If you want to come out and you're afraid you get lost in the crowd, no, absolutely. Everybody can ask their own questions, and it's a really good back and forth. But our Dreaming of Streaming event for anyone who wants to learn about what streaming means, how to stream TV, maybe switch from cable or satellite. Maybe you pay too much for your TV stuff now and you want to either save money or get more programming or different channels or whatever. That's kind of what the whole event's for. So come on out. It's open to anyone. It's at 5:30 tonight at the Meeker Co-op office here in Litchfield on Highway 12.
We have air conditioning.
Air conditioning's free. Snacks are free and non-alcoholic beverages. Come on out. That's tonight at 5:30 at the Meeker Co-op office.
Perfect. Bill's really popular here. The phone's ringing. So tomorrow night, we also have another event. Meeker Cooperative and Vibrant is sponsoring the American Legion Car and Bike Night. So there's going to be some cool cars, some bikes, drinks, and food specials, and plenty of giveaways. The giveaways are from 6 o'clock. Well, the giveaway is at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. Vibrant will have a booth there as well. So stop by and say hi. Have questions, want to sign up, we're right there for you. Also, Saturday, we are going to be in the Eden Valley Parade. Starts at 6 o'clock, so we'll see you out at Valley Days. Yeah, absolutely. Come on out. We've already done a few parades this year, and we got a few more to do. We will be giving away something for the kids and stuff. So absolutely, if you're in the Eden Valley area or you're free on Saturday, come on out. And then, for anyone who joined late today and missed part of today's show or want to listen back to some previous Vibrant You lives, we post these on our Facebook page. They're usually on the next day, so tomorrow we'll put on today's radio show. So you check this out on VIBRANT Broadband on Facebook, or as always, listen live on KLFD every Wednesday at 10:30. And then if you have any questions about Vibrant, or you're interested in getting it, or you're curious, hey, can I get fiber? Can I get your fixed wireless? What kind of internet can I get? Absolutely, give us a call. You'll talk to generally me, Jane, or Bo, and we'd be happy to answer questions, see if it's something we can help you with, see if it's a good fit. Our number, 320-693-3231. You can also go to our website, vibrantbroadband.com. And who wouldn't want to be vibrant? That's our catchphrase now. Who wouldn't want to be vibrant? Yes. So at this point, we'd like to thank Steve and KLFD for having us on again. Thank you for listening. We love hearing feedback of people listening to the show. Thank you, Bill, for coming on. I appreciate it. We're not paying him to be here either and say all these nice things. So, but then thank you for listening. My name's Nathan. And I'm Jane. And tune in next Wednesday for another Vibrant You Live.
Vibrant Broadband. It's snorting